Hey, and welcome to Dave's Classic Collectables. Today we're going to look at the 118 HSV VL SS Group A, or commonly known by the general public as the Walkinshaw. So today we're going to do a comparison between two cars. The Biante one that was released 20 odd years ago, and actually the first 118 that I actually purchased, and it's there today for everyone to see. And the recent release this year, the Classic Collectible model. Before we do that, we'll talk a little bit about the history and the significance of this car. So the HSV VL SS Group A, bit of a mouthful, is actually the third Group A that was built for Holden. The VK Group A was the first one. The VL Group A was the second one. HDT, so in the permanent red. Then the start of HSV, which is the model that we're doing today, with Tom Walkinshaw. And then the final one, the VN SS Group A, which was also built by HSV for Holden, where the first two cars were built by HDT back in the Brock days. HSV built 750 of these cars through Tom Walkinshaw for Holden. They never wore a HSV badge. They were badged SV, being special vehicles. This was the start of it, and the badge was on the front guard on each side and also on the rear boot, just saying SV. The first HSV badged car was the SV 88, which was a VL, basically based on a VL Calais. There's a lot of firsts for the Walkinshaw, and I'll call it the Walkinshaw because that's generally what everybody calls it. It was the first injected 5-litre V8. At the time, it was so aggressive. I remember I was in my final year of school when these came out in March 1988, and it was just like something you'd never seen before, nearly like a spacecraft. It was so big, the scoop, the rear wing on the back of the car, it was just so aggressive, like nothing we'd ever seen before. And really, Holden had the market here because Ford weren't producing V8s at that time and stopped in 1984 and didn't come back until October 1991. And it was still years later, I think 94, before the EB GT even came out. Now it's time to really have a closer look at the two models. So the one closest to us is the Biante VL Group A, and the one behind is the new released Classic Collectible vehicle. The front one from Biante was released about 2000. I've had that car since brand new. It's actually the first 118 model I actually ever purchased. And it's a very, very sought after car. Biante released 12,000 of that model, where the new one from Classic Collectible, they produced 5,000. Both cars come with certificate of authenticity, which is really an Australian thing. Doesn't really happen anywhere else around the world. I think it's nice, particularly with limited edition cars. 750 of the actual cars were made, so it is nice if you do have a certificate or a chassis number under the 750, because theoretically somebody owns that car if it's still on the road today. So low COA numbers can be nice in certain circumstances. The thing I love about the Biante car is the condition. Now bear in mind, I said I did buy this car brand new. I bought it from the Holden dealership. I've had it for 23 years approximately. Some of these models, and a lot of collectors know, and it can be very, very painful, is they get rust or paint imperfections. But rust is generally what they get. And these are outstanding. Like, it's still perfect, like the day I purchased it brand new. And yes, I have looked after it. It's been stored and it's been kept in a dust-free cabinet and no moisture and all those sorts of things. So that's all very, very important to keep the car looking good. But this is still outstanding. So that says something. It's 23 years old roughly, and the condition of it tells you something. With the Classic, what's it going to be like in 5 years or 10 years time? We don't really know. And there's plenty of cars from plenty of manufacturers that after they're a couple of years old, they start getting rust problems and paint imperfections. So at least for the Biante point of view, we do know the longevity of the car is outstanding. The thing I also love about these is it's a pretty good model considering its age. The front end's quite good. It's nowhere near as aggressive as the Classic Collectible model. I think it's too aggressive on the Classic, maybe not quite enough on the Biante, but I do think the mould of the Biante car is better. Bear in mind, this is my personal opinion. A few faults. One thing is, when the model was photographed originally and made by Biante, the car had a couple of modifications because they didn't take it from a brand new car. Unfortunately, in the boot, it's got a subwoofer. And as we all know, they never came out with a subwoofer. So that's a little bit tacky. With the Biante model also, when you open the rear doors, VLs have an ashtray in the actual door pillar. And these are discoloured, which is what actually happens with age. So Biante's actually made it with the wrong colour. Where with the Classic, it's all the same colour. There's some really good things about the Classic car too. I do love the fact that it has the chassis number underneath. I think that's a nice touch. Instead of just having it on the certificate, it's underneath. So yeah, I quite like that idea, and it's something that Classic's been doing for a couple of years now. The advantages of the Classic also is the fact that it's a new mould. This is the first car they've ever done on it, and you can just see, like, looking at it, just the windows are clearer, and some of the trims are a little bit nicer. The rear speakers are a little bit better, things like that. But disappointing, unfortunately, the boot doesn't open. The doors open, and so does the bonnet, and shows you the engine bay, and the Biante, everything opens, including the boot, as we just discussed, because it's got a subwoofer in it, which it didn't come with. The thing also that I really do like about the Classic car is I think the colour's a lot closer. It has got that blue tinge to it, which is more closer to the actual car. The Biante one is more silver. Even though they call the car Panorama Silver, it did definitely have more of that blue tinge, which in my opinion is closer with the Classic car. So now we'll look at the boxes. This one obviously is the Biante box, and this one's what we call the sealed box, where they actually came in two different types, so this one and a window box. So this one, all the ones that are like this, the sealed ones, they were sold through Holden dealerships, where the clear box was sold through all your retail outlets. And as you can see, there it is, Biante model cars. So this is a Biante window box. I know it's a Ford BA XR8, but for the purpose of what I'm showing you, these are the window boxes. So these are the ones that were sold through the retail outlets, where the previous box was the one that was sold at the Holden dealership. Now, I don't like these. As a collector, I hate these. And as you can see the steel bands on these cars, and they very easily can, it's wire, it could rub very easily and wear the paint. And some of them also came with tape, which is still, not a very good thing. So the other box, by far, way better. Now this is your Classic box. Now what I love about Classic is you get a white outer box first. So this is actually to protect it, and as you can see, right there, tells you exactly what the car is and what its model number is. This is your picture box, which obviously goes inside the white outer box. So what I love about it is that the white outer box can be scuffed and it doesn't matter, because your picture box is what then gets protected, and that can stay in really, really good condition. These also will stop them from yellowing. So if I ever get spare Classic boxes, I actually put Biantes and everything in them if they fit, to stop all the yellowing, so therefore the boxes and everything stay in really good condition. So this is a great box. Actually, it also has some pictures and stuff like that. It's just a little bit nicer, that's all. Really, you want the model, but at least also there it is. Summing up, these are the two cars. Totally up to you which one you sort of prefer. Obviously the Classic has only just been released, so still very relatively available. $349.95 is the recommended retail. It was actually the first car from Classic to crack that money. They've normally been $300, but $350, and a lot of collectors weren't too happy about how they were, a $50 increase on that particular car. But compared to the Biante at the moment, it's probably somewhere between $800 and $1,000. You can hunt around like we all do and look around, but definitely they are still sourceable, particularly the new one. Hope you enjoyed it. If you like it, by all means, like down the bottom and let us know your thoughts. Thank you.